Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Before we get started, I want to quickly remind you that we actually interviewed David Davidson from Revocation right here on the Metal Meltdown literally just the other day, so if by chance you want to learn even more about this particular album from this particular band, I would recommend after watching this video, you check the link in the description. I also want to let you know that the Metal Meltdown is going live this Friday, September 9th at approximately 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be playing some classic horror games. We're going to be playing old school Resident Evil and probably some other video games if the time permits. I'm going to try and keep this one on the shorter side, roughly 3 to 4 hours or so. But the point is, we're going to drink, we're going to get scared, we're going to have fun, we're going to shoot the shit. I'll probably make a drinking game out of it on the fly, some bullshit like that. So, yeah, there you have it. Let's not call this a Resident Evil drinking game, though. Let's call this the Metal Meltdown End of Summer Spooktacular. There you go. That's got a nice ring to it. Rolls right off the fucking tongue. Be there or be square, goddammit. I don't care if you got work. I don't care if you got school. It's been a while since we did a live stream, so figure it the fuck out. Booyah! Now that that's out of the way, let's officially get started and talk about Netherheaven, the 8th studio album from American metal maniacs, Revocation. I love these guys. Straight the fuck up. Their fusion of old school death metal and progressive metal and technical and melodic death metal and thrash metal is bombastic, unique, exciting, mesmerizing. They've put out so many great fucking records, particularly in the 2010s, like Chaos of Forms, the self-titled album, Deathless, Great Is Our Sin, all fucking bangers. Admittedly, I don't care as much for the outer ones, but overall it's still a pretty beefy, muscular, and grotesque collection of death metal manicy and brutality. I particularly like the overall vibe and aesthetic. I mean, this is basically Revocation exploring the nightmarish edges of the cosmos and the multiverse. Netherheaven is a lot different from the outer ones, though. Through Netherheaven, Revocation are diving deep into several figurative and literal levels of hell. Figurative in the sense that the album kind of taps into a lot of the anger and anxiety that we've all collectively experienced on some level in the past few years. Dave Davidson has clearly taken advantage of his COVID downtime and has clearly been paying attention to the world around him in that COVID downtime. Throughout the album, he takes direct aim at far-right and fascist movements and politics and figures. He also talks a lot about religious extremism and hypocrisy. For instance, the track Nihilistic Violence is inspired in part by the events and consequences of the January 6th insurrection, and David writes in Diabolical Masquerade, taking direct aim specifically at evangelical Christians and conservatives. Monoliths of the diabolical erected in defiance against the servants of the light. Champions of hell have been invoked to crush the cursed creatures of the Christian right. And it's also a literal hell in the sense that the album literally does explore a literal hell. A major source of inspiration for the record was also Dante's The Divine Comedy, namely the concept of 9 separate rings and levels of hell. To paraphrase David Davidson himself from our interview here on the Metal Meltdown, as you go through the album, so too are you descending through the 9 levels of hell through all 9 tracks. Eventually even being brought face to face with a star-studded cast of demonly creatures and otherworldly beings on the album's closing number, Recrucified. And all of this makes for an utterly evil and brutal concoction of, well, hellish and epic proportions. Put very simply, ladies and gentlemen, Netherheaven isn't just a great album, it's one of the best of 2022, and possibly, even by the standards of Revocation, one of their best yet. The aforementioned Diabolical Majesty is also the album opener, and it wastes absolutely no time delivering the motherfucking goods, with extremely grotesque death metal riffry, some slimy, churning, battering grooves, some super muscular rhythms, some over-the-top guitar pyrotechnics. It feels like a really good balance of everything that Revocation have done over the course of the past decade. Like, there's a little bit of Outer Ones, a little bit of Deathless and Great Is Our Sin, even a little bit of the self-titled, all kind of thrown around and thoroughly mixed and stirred. Same goes for tracks like Lessons in Occult Theft and Strange and Eternal. I mean, there's just so much amazing guitar work, so much amazing percussion, so much amazing vocal work. These tracks are so dynamic, so unpredictable, so much fun to dissect and explore, and just jam on a very casual level. Like, the beauty of Revocation for me has always been that if you really want to sit down and examine every little fucking follicle of the thing, you can and you'll find so much. But if you also just want to listen to a bunch of awesome fucking riffs and beats and shit, you can do that and it's fine. My favorite tracks on the record would be Galleries of Morbid Artistry and The Intervening Abyss of Untold Eons. Amazing fucking title. I like these tracks because they take everything we've talked about and they push them into even more cinematic and epic and bombastic territory without ever being overwhelming or pretentious. The former track, Galleries of Morbid Artistry, does a really great job at creating atmosphere, but also color and contrast. It does have some pretty brutal and volatile displays of thrash and death, technicality and precision, but it also has some slower sections, some, almost waltz-like rhythms, some very clean, almost In Flames style guitar licks and passages. It has these dissonant chords and melodies. Whereas the latter track, Intervening Abyss of Untold Eons, is essentially a roller coaster of, brutal and technical and melodic death and thrash metal influences and spices. It's incredibly potent, incredibly violent, incredibly hectic, and I love every second of it. It almost feels as if the album is warning you that your journey through hell is about to end, and you're about to come face to face with Satan himself. Portrayed here quite fittingly by both Trevor Strnad of the Black Dahlia Murder fame and George Fisher aka Corpse Grinder of Cannibal Corpse fame. Appropriately, influences from both of these respective bands pop up when these singers respectively pop up in the track. There are lots of wild guitar licks, very reminiscent of classic Swedish death metal and modern American melodic death metal, but there's also some really crushing, thick, fiery grooves, very much in the vein of classic death metal. Seasoned further with everything Revocation already does so well, the final product is a broth so flavorful, so delicious, so strong, that I could probably pour it over literally anything, and that thing would immediately become significantly better. And I'm not just talking about a bowl of noodles or some fucking shit like that. I mean, if I filled an old shoe with broken glass and sandpaper, and I also poured this exact broth over said shoe, filled with broken glass and sandpaper, you would be looking at that and going, you know what, that actually looks pretty fucking good. And you'd have a bite, and you'd go, damn, that tastes fucking delicious. Oh my god. More, please. Can I have more? This is amazing. Put some in a takeout box. I want to take it home. Easy 4.5 out of 5 for me. I love this fucking thing. This thing kicks ass as if its job is to kick ass, and it's working fucking overtime. Honestly, I'm struggling to think of a single thing I disliked or even didn't fully, thoroughly enjoy on this fucking thing. It's just fantastic. From start to finish, every track is a certified motherfucking banger filled with amazing fucking riffs and performances. The production is fantastic. It is so punchy and heavy and brutal. I mean, this thing is just so fucking nasty. David Davidson sounds amazing, but, props got to be given to the rest of the band as well. Ash Pearson, I remember when he joined this band, and I was a little doubtful because he had just been doing 3 Inches of Blood up until that point, but goddamn, he's getting better and better and better with every record. I would argue this is one of his best performances on any record ever, period. I really don't have anything more to say at this point, so let's wrap it up. 4.5 out of 5, an incredible fucking record. Hell has never sounded this fucking good, ladies and gentlemen. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.